last week, and this week she's in a 2-day full weekend training on a listening technique. That's where she is right now. Not listening to me, but listening to instructors, right? To help other people work better together, couples to work better together, to listen to each other. It's fascinating to hear her talk this theory and to share these practices and to work on that in our own life, to keep working better and better together as a team. So last week we talked about listening. And today, talking about listening again. That when we have listened, it's wise, it's good practice to stop and listen a second time. A friend called me, someone that I spend a good bit of time with and work with, a close connection that I have. Not my wife, another connection now. Not a friend, a real friend. They called me after a conversation we had had about 2 days before. In that previous conversation, they had shared some concerns with me, some things they were worried about, and I had listened to them and really tried to understand what they were talking about, what they were facing, and then to think about, well, what can we do to address this? What can we do in this situation to help everybody as much as possible and to offer some ways forward, some possible solutions? And we ended that conversation. I thought, well, that's great. We handled that. Move on. A couple days later, I get a call back from my friend, and the friend says, I need to talk with you a little bit more. I said, sure, that's fine. What's up? And they said, well, we spoke, and then you offered some answers, some solutions, and I felt so unheard by you, so disconnected, like we were having two completely different conversations. And I thought, what the hell? What are you talking about? And it was all I could do not to just bust into that second conversation on the call and say, wait, hang on a second. I heard you say all these things, and then I said we should do these things, and they're the right things we should do, and now let's do them. Right? I listened. I did. I listened. I try to be a professional listener. Right? How in the world is it possible that this person I'm so connected to and care so much about spoke to me, and I listened and computed and organized and compartmentalized and prioritized, and the whole time I was doing that, it's as if they were in a different world. How can that possibly be the case? And it was all I could do to not bust into this second conversation we're having now and say, wait, you're not hearing me. Do you hear that? I don't feel heard by you. No, you're not hearing me. Pretty soon the canoe is wedged against two rocks and that river is pressing in, and it will break. So, thank the good whatever, I've made this mistake before and had some people tell me a different way. And so, this is my friend. I said, tell me what you were trying to say. Please, just tell me again. I'm sorry to ask. Talk with me again. And they began to share. And I heard everything I thought I'd heard before. I didn't hear anything different. And for the life of me, I wanted again to say, yeah, I heard all that. Now these are the things that we should do. But I've made that mistake before. And I've been called on that before. More than once. So I said, what else would you like to say? What more is there in this that you might want to share? What might I not be hearing that you want to be sure I hear? What still is unsaid here? Just making space for the person not only to say the words and share the thoughts, but to relax even into their anxiety and their stress and to share more from their heart. And for them to know, however well or badly I listen, that I'm trying to listen. I'm trying to hear. For them to feel not only that their ideas are being shared, but that there's a connection between us. Something stronger than even the words and ideas. For them to know that I'm there with them, even over the distance of the telephone. What else do you want to say? What else is on your heart? What am I not hearing? And then, when they have said that, let me share with you what I think I'm hearing, but please tell me if I'm not hearing it well. I think you're saying this. Does that sound right? No? Okay. Help turn me in a different direction. Listening not just once, but listening again. And being willing in my listening to have missed it. And being willing in their speaking to have held something back, to have not spoken their full piece. And creating the space around us and the connection between us so that all of that can come through. In our words, but also in all the things that are not words. Even when we can't see each other over the phone. Just our presence there with each other. We spoke like this. And it took some time. And there was a part of me that never went away that just wanted to say, look, I actually took notes from our meeting before, and I want to go through all of this with you and explain how well I did in all of that and how good my ideas were. Just take it and stick it in my wallet and don't pull it out, right? Because it's not about being right. It's about being connected and finding our way together. I was in a raft with a bunch of scouts this summer. Told you all some about this trip. And there were a couple of times when the guide on our raft said, okay, now we're going to shoot this rapids and I need you all to row together. And meanwhile, two of the scouts were splashing people in another boat, right? Time to go. And the paddle's way out here and not in the water. We had to sink. But the boat's moving. And we can't go back. The job is just to get everybody pulling together again, wherever you find yourself. To reconnect. Not to pull out the list and say, well, my paddle was in the water. But to start pulling together. And to shoot whatever rapids life holds for us. We've seen some pretty big ones lately. I said to my friend, is this what you were saying to me? Have I heard you? And finally, in that conversation, yes, you have heard me. And then just the word, I'm so sorry that I did not hear you clearly before. Because I want to. It's never my intent not to. And I'm sorry for whatever role I played in causing us to disconnect. And my friend said, Scott, it's okay. because I trust you. I know that that's not what you would intend. And that's what we're going for. We're not just trying to be good people. We're certainly not trying to be good therapists. Most of us are not therapists and should not be. That's why there are a lot of barriers to come into that profession, because most of us need one but don't need to be one. What we are after is trust. A connection with each other that's so strong that when we foul it up, as we are going to do, when we mishear each other and misunderstand each other and fail to listen to each other because we're in too big a hurry, or the topic's too sensitive, or there's too much stress, or, by God, I thought that I heard you and you thought that I didn't, and now that makes really, really angry, and now we're really angry at each other, and how are we going to find our way back to each other? That through all of those rapids that come with just being people in the same boat together, that we still trust that we're there together on purpose, that we're a team making a home with each other, a team making a business with each other, a team making a congregation with each other, a team making a nation with each other. Good God, what a team. Right? But that we can trust, that even when we don't hear, all it takes is to listen again. Trust is the thing that has broken. All the ways in which we have failed and betrayed each other, often without even meaning to. Trust is the thing that is broken in our world, in our country, on our continents, in this hemisphere. 500 years of broken trust. Endless promises and treaties made, purposefully ruptured. No wonder it is so hard to connect and to listen. No wonder it's so hard to build anything coherent and life-giving. If we rebuild that trust just by listening again, then we begin to make a life. A life for both of us, for all of us. A life of connection and purpose. It sounds so simple, it's almost silly. Listen once and listen again. But think for a minute what it's like when we don't. Think about how conflicted and broken our lives quickly become, and how hard it is to get back on the same page with each other. But when we do, think of how strong. Think of how life-giving. Think of how beautiful. Listen once, and then ask, did I hear you? What else is there? Is this what you were saying? See how it works.
Good morning, everyone. So we've come to the point in our service for our water communion or water ceremony. And this is something that's relatively recent in the Unitarian Universalist tradition, starting in the 1980s. It's often held as we're doing today at the end of summer, beginning of fall. And in this tradition, members bring to the service a small amount of water from a place that is special to them. Everyone then comes up and pours the water together into a larger vessel. The combined water symbolizes our joining together, and also the idea that our shared faith comes from many different sources. Sometimes a portion of this water is saved, boiled of course, and then used for child dedication ceremonies. So I'd like to invite you now to come forward to share the waters, and here's some instructions. Again, if you have a small vessel of water, you'll pour it into the large bowl on the table there. If you forgot some water today, that's fine. Seffi and Mel both have pitchers, and you can pour a small amount into the communal bowl there. We'd like to invite families with small children to come forward first, followed by older youth, and then by adults at the end. So we can go ahead and start that.
Our final reading today to extinguish the chalice is a responsive reading, a litany of atonement. This was written to celebrate the holiest of days of our Jewish siblings who will be celebrating Yom Kippur this Thursday. This reading can be found in your order of service, in your hand, or below the live stream. Please join me in reading the italicized part. For remaining silent when a single voice would have made a difference, we forgive ourselves and each other. We begin again in love. For each time that our fears made us rigid and inaccessible, we forgive ourselves and each other. We begin again in love. For each time that we have struck out in anger without just cause, we forgive ourselves and each other. We begin again in love. For each time that our greed has blinded us to the needs of others, we forgive ourselves and each other. We begin again in love. For the selfishness which sets us apart and alone, we forgive ourselves and each other. We begin again in love. For the falling short of the admonitions of the Spirit, we forgive ourselves and each other. We begin again in love. For losing sight of our unity, we forgive ourselves and each other. We begin again in love. For those and for so many acts, both evident and subtle, which have fueled the illusion of separateness, I forgive myself and begin again in love.
I was on that river this summer. Some of the rocks in the river are dated to over 1 billion years old. And while we were going down it, it started to pour rain. Water under us and water on us, and water pouring down upon us. The cycle of rain, of water moving through the systems of our world, is a cycle of millions and millions of years. We're part of something so much bigger than ourselves. And when we don't work together, it can be dangerous. Ships wreck. Teams broken. Lives lost. But when we connect, listen once, and then listen again to really be connected, we can move through that flow of water and time, helping each other navigate the most dangerous rapids that life has to offer. And it is unbelievably beautiful.